Hello everyone! So it's been quite a while since I made a video, and that's because I started studying psychology. I didn't have time to do any video. But right now I'm having a little bit of a break and I figured it's a great time to make a video, especially that tomorrow it's my birthday and it's such a convenient opportunity to make this video, like 21 things I learned throughout this year, because tomorrow it's my 21st birthday. So I figured I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it my style, because this year I got involved, last year practically, I got involved with tarot, like tarot cards, tarot readings and all that witchy stuff. And I guess that it will also work as my reflection of the year video, kind of, because to me, I have birthday at the beginning of the year, right? So to me, more important event is my birthday rather than the New Year's. So when everybody is doing resolutions for the new year, I'm doing it rather on the 6th of January, because it's my birthday and it actually feels more like a new start for me. So I'm going to draw 7 tarot cards, and for each I'm going to say 3 things that are related to the last year, what I learned, what happened, my feelings, my thoughts and all of that. I'm going to interpret those things, see those things in the cards. Why 7 and why 3? Because 7 multiplied by 3 is 21, so that's how old I'm gonna get tomorrow. So now it all makes sense, right? I'm going to use Ostara tarot deck. It's beautiful, you guys are going to see. And yeah, I guess we're starting. Okay, so the first card I'm getting is 8 of Swords. Ah, it looks like that. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay, so how does it relate to my life? Let me see. Okay, so before I start, I'm just going to say that I don't really know the real traditional meanings of the symbols that are typical for tarot. I'm going with my feelings, I am trusting what my intuition says about the pictures, about the general symbols and general meaning of the card. I think this connects you with you better, and that's kind of the point of reading tarot at all, I think. So on this card there is an eagle, right? And this is a trained eagle, right? So his eyes are covered, so he doesn't get scared of things. He doesn't react in a rapid way to things. And I feel like this was maybe the beginning of this year for me, because I was like this eagle, you could say. So the ability that eagles are associated with is seeing things with details, right? And seeing details in a long distance. So, but here the eagle has his eyes covered. And at the beginning of the year, I still wasn't really trusting my own judgment. Even if things were seeming to me as fair or unfair, I still was not able to express what I want instead, I was still struggling with clearly stating what I expect from others, for example, and because I was afraid that maybe if I seem like I impose something on others, then they will completely get distance from me just because they will feel limited or something. However, right now I feel like stating what you need, stating exactly what you want others to do is crucial. It's the most important thing in communication, because you should tell others how they should treat you, how they can treat you good, because they might simply not know, or they might not have an idea, and it might appear that they want to have this idea actually, and that it will not only help you but also them. Okay, so that's the first thing about this card. The other thing about this card is that this eagle is a trained one. However, he's bonded with this glove, but this glove is it belongs to nobody. There's nobody, that's just a glove. There's no real person behind the glove. So I feel like this is me resigning from university and like resigning from trying to satisfy some abstract somebody. If you're being trained, then the training is effective because the ego thinks or feels that he needs to like do something according to the expectations. So that's exactly how I applied to university at all at first, that I felt like I was compelled to do it. It was just a concept in my head that there is some expectation that I need to be at university at all. So when I got rid of this concept, I finally started seeing what I actually want from university, what is my purpose at all, and that's how I got clear on which course I want to do at all, and it is psychology, and that's how I got directed to this path, you know, and I'm so glad I did this. The third thing about this card is, I guess, the whole like composition of it, because the eagle is surrounded by swords. Swords in tarot mean thoughts, it's like symbolize them. However, and like they surround him as if they were cage, like they kind of make like bars of the cage. But truly, the space like around the eagle is actually only the sky. It's kind of a free space, you know, nothing is limiting it at all. The only thing that is limiting it is the thoughts. So it's very metaphoric, I guess, and I think it's clear what I mean already, that truly this year I got to know that my thoughts about the world, what I expect from the world, is holding me back many times, or it makes me worry unnecessarily. Like I have this habit that I think of all the outcomes possible of a situation that is stressful or like risky or just simply difficult for me somehow, and it really worries me, you know, and it requires a lot of energy to think how I should react to each outcome, you know, and but many times later it appears that I didn't need to even think about all those outcomes, because first of all, something completely else that I didn't even think of happened, and this thing was good anyway. Like people were cooperating with me, everyone wanted to help me, nothing bad happened. So I didn't need to think of all of this. I didn't need to prepare myself for the worst, because nothing even close to the worst happened, you know. So I guess that this year I noticed it. I still don't have the formula to make myself less stressed but I think it was a good discovery, because I finally kind of argued with this habit. I kind of argued with those thoughts that were telling me that for sure you need to be better prepared for this event, because you're not gonna survive if you don't think of a good solution right now to a hypothetical situation that, like, I have no proof that can happen really, but maybe, and what if, and then you gotta prepare yourself. But like, no, you don't have to. You need to trust that you deserve to be treated right, and other people simply know it. That's like basic knowledge. So yeah, this is the third thing about this card. Okay, so let's get into the next card. I feel like this video might be pretty long, but okay, let's make the best of it, I guess. The next card is the moon. Oh my god, look at this. This is so beautiful. Look at that. I love this card. Oh my fucking god. So the first thing about this card is that honestly this girl looked like Pearl from Steven Universe. Like seriously, don't even argue me on that. And that actually relates to this year, because this year, I mean last year, okay, I started watching Steven Universe, and I've been meaning to do it for quite a long time, but I never really got interested. At the beginning, I thought that Steven Universe was pretty boring, mostly because I started watching Steven Universe and I got through like 3 episodes or something, and the first few episodes are really bad actually, and I never got through more. So yeah, I just thought it was just a stupid show, and I didn't know how anybody could like it. But then one day I just happened to watch a little bit of it with my friend, because she like got to know that a new episode came out and she really wanted to see it like right now, so we saw it together. And it was some season, so it was in the beginning, it was like in the middle of the show, and I liked this episode, you know, and I was like, wow, so this show gets better or something later. And I gave it a try this year, and oh my god, I'm not regretting it, okay? It was such a good idea to start it. I really like it, you know? Although I don't think this show is perfect, like there are more perfect shows to be honest, but I am still so glad, and I feel like it was a significant thing of this year. Another thing that comes to my mind when I think of the moon at all is basically night, right? And sleep. So I've always had problems with sleeping. And what I mean is that I would stay up late, not because I would do something that I needed to finish, or I don't know, I didn't feel like going to sleep at all. I felt like going to sleep, but I just couldn't fall asleep. It just didn't happen, you know? Even if I was tired, even if I felt sleepy, like there were different stages in my life. I think that my sleeping schedule completely started like being messy when I started thinking too much before going to sleep, like in middle school, because my middle school was awful. That's when I struggled to fall asleep, because I was like thinking too much, feeling too much, and honestly I didn't really want to go to sleep because it meant that I would have to get up in the morning, right? So I kind of wanted to prolong the night, I think. But it was bad because I was really tired, and even if I was tired all day, I still couldn't sleep. So yeah, it started in middle school, and later I think my sleep just stayed disturbed even when I wasn't stressed, you know? But this year it changed. This year it changed, because when I resigned from university, I had all time free, so I could plan it however I wanted, and so I decided to try to make my sleep schedule more regulated. So I started getting up at the same hour every day. It wasn't, at the beginning it wasn't so early, like it wasn't like 6 a.m. or anything. It was more like 9. I mean, at the beginning I think I was waking up at 10, because like normally I would probably wake up at 12 or even later. But then I started waking up at 10 every day, and then I just kept getting up earlier, up until I was getting up just by myself at 8, or the maximum of 9, you know, and it was quite an achievement. Like I was never able to get up so early, especially that I wasn't able to fall asleep early. But then when I started waking up quite regularly, then it affected the hour when I was going to sleep. So at 10 p.m. I was starting to get sleepy, and that is such a revolution in my life. Like it would never happen before. I wouldn't even be like sleepy before 2 a.m. you know, let alone trying even to fall asleep before 2 a.m. I don't know, I'm just so glad I did it, because I feel better during the day. I feel better when the sun is up. So it really benefited me that the time that I was spending in sunlight was longer, basically, right? When I was waking up earlier. So Jesus, I am so glad I achieved that this year. The last thing, let me think. Well, I am kind of thinking about this channel, you know, because look at this, there are people like behind her, and she seems to be like an inspired leader or something. And I feel like this year, I don't know, at the very beginning of this year, I had this idea, okay, I'm going to rearrange this channel a little bit so it's more focused on self-development and stuff like that, because I myself got interested in those things. So I thought, okay, I want to make content about it too. So I feel like this card could represent the change of this channel into something more thought through and with a message, you know. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Okay, the next card is Strength. Oh my god, how I love it. I love this card, and I especially love it in this deck, because usually this card is a woman that is holding her hand on a lion, and it's supposed to mean that strength comes from delicacy, you know, because she's kind of like calming down the beast in a very delicate manner. So so basically strength is not exactly being aggressive or like, you know, forcing something, but being delicate to the biggest monsters, I guess, or something like that. Oh my god, this card can have so many meanings, really. However, the first thing that comes to mind when I look at it is that I learned nonviolent communication this year. I'm not only speaking to people differently, but I'm also listening differently. I am hearing something, different meanings than before. I hear more. A rule that I'm following is that if somebody is judging you, they are not saying what you're doing wrong. They are saying that they are feeling wrong, that they are feeling something that they don't want to feel anymore. If somebody is causing you pain, then it must mean that they feel pain themselves too. I don't know if it makes sense, but this card kind of reminds me of it, you know, like being delicate to the beast, you know? So somebody that's trying to threaten you, you actually see how they are expressing their pain to you in this way. Okay, another thing about this card is that this girl seems kind of like a warrior or something like this, like a survivor, you could say. So, oh, she looks a little bit like me because of the hair, right? So, okay, I'm not saying that I am a survivor or something. However, this year I did get independent, and this is something about being a warrior. I think that you can fight for yourself and also for others, but I did get more independent emotionally. Like, I used to depend on my friends a lot, and I still do, you know, but it's better now. It's just a more effective way. I was really focusing this year on finding ways to deal with my emotions and problems on my own, you know, like first face it alone, and when nothing comes out of it, then reach out for help. I didn't think that if I didn't manage to solve problems on my own, then it's a failure and that's why I need to reach out. No, it's more like I recognize that I need something from others, like others could really help me, and then I reach for it because then I know what is missing, and this reaching out makes more sense, you know. It really helped me to be more efficient in getting things solved, you know. Okay, and the last thing about this card is how she's holding her heart in such a manner that it's kind of like at the same time protecting but also holding it, you know, having control over it. I see the heart as my emotions and my attitude towards them, I guess, because my feelings used to be very shaky. How I felt was directly connected with my relationships. So you could say that my heart was held by the people that I cared about, you know. But right now, I think I managed to like somehow regain my heart. So I'm holding it, and it means that I am the one responsible for everything that happens in my head and within. So like my reactions are not caused, they are chosen. And obviously others play a part in how I feel, obviously, like, however, it's me who reacts, it's me who takes action, so I am in control, you know. I'm not helpless, I'm not hopeless. So yeah, that is really strength, I think. Wow. I love those conclusions. Okay, so the next card is Justice. Wow, I love those cards that I'm getting, like seriously, they're so good. So here's Justice. Most of the cards in this deck are kind of original, I think, and they add a lot. And this card it looks traditional, to be honest, like there's nothing that much added. And the thing is that it doesn't really inspire me either, to be honest, not that much, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so what I see in this card is definitely revaluing things, you know, because like you have values here, right? And it's just kind of like measuring how much it kind of weighs, so what value it holds. And I really connected with how much I learned this year about minimalism, veganism, about fruitarianism also, and all of those kind of like lifestyles, you know. And I actually implemented a lot in my life. I think what changed the most is my approach to buying things, to shopping, to commercialism, to those things, you know. I used to buy a lot, spending money on things for fun. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not spending money because it's fun. Why would you support companies that are not really trying to support you? So they're selling some crappy clothes, for example, or crappy food, and you're supporting them with your money, even though they are basically poisoning you or making you work for hours and then spend your money on overpriced things. Like, you know, I was having a lot of thoughts about this year, and all those thoughts changed my life really. And I also moved to another room. I have a new room, and I designed this room so it's more minimalistic, and I threw away lots of stuff. Like, seriously, this room doesn't even have half of the stuff that I used to have. So I feel like it was a game changer for me, like researching minimalism and all of that. So yeah, that's justice. Okay, so that's the first thing. Another thing is kind of random about this card, but as you see, Justice is blind, right? She's blindfolded. And I will interpret it kind of outside of the general meaning of justice. So if you close your eyes, then you're not focusing on the world around you anymore. I mean, you have other senses, but let's say that it generally means that you're not really focused on the world outside, but you're rather turning your sight inwards, you could say. So well, this year I discovered something that I never was connected with before, never, which is spirituality. I mean, I was never religious, I'm still not. So for a long time, I guess I didn't find any replacement for spirituality in my life, you know. I was never trying to connect with like any divine being, or I was never really approving of theories saying that there are souls, and I don't believe in souls. You know, I couldn't find anything. I didn't like when people were talking about paranormal stuff, or like the universe that has its own awareness. I just didn't, it didn't make sense to me. Like, I liked scientific researches, I liked facts, I liked biology, physics and all of that, and I liked science because it made sense to me. I felt like I didn't need any spirituality in my life, you know. However, this year I got interested in magic, which seems kind of very ridiculous if you also like consider that I was always only interested in science and suddenly I believe in magic. Like, I don't know, I had quite a story with it, which I was talking about in another video, so I'm gonna just link it, and you can just, yeah, hear more about it there. I'm just going to say that this year I discovered my way to connect to my spiritual side, you know, and this is definitely through, for example, tarot cards or making spells, enchanting objects. I'm calling it psychological tricks because these really are. However, it makes me think that I can have some alignment with the universe, you could say, that things are making more sense. Like, there is some sense beyond chaos, I would say. Like, we are somehow a little bit more than just materialistic world, you know. There is something more. I still don't have it figured out, but I guess I'm going to like towards this direction, and yeah, it happened this year, it started. And the last thing about this card is that the setting is definitely in some warm country or something, almost tropical, I would say. It really reminds me just of summer. I mean, okay, Poland is definitely not a tropical country. However, I'm just saying that this summer was long for me, because the whole summer I was mostly waiting for my chance to go to university again. You know, at some point I was just so frustrated with the fact that I didn't have anything to do. I kind of like this those challenges. I like being ambitious. I like when I am in some structure like university and there are some challenges. However, I just wanted to say that even though I got frustrated like at the end of this period, I really loved it. Like this summer was very, and summer and spring too, they were very special this year. I got more self-aware and I had a lot of time to get to know myself. Like basically, I don't know, I'm grateful for the summer, you know? Okay, so the next card is Temperance. Oh my god, I love the cards that I'm getting. Because they are all from Major Arcana and I feel this is so special that I'm getting them right now. Okay, I'm gonna be quicker because my battery is going low. So, the first thing that comes to mind when you look at this card is obviously Pandora's box. So, okay, what I'm thinking is that these are like good experiences and good emotions, and these are like bad. I don't know why. Like, okay, like it doesn't matter. Like this could be a positive emotion, and this could be negative. Like there's some division, okay, and I mean that this year I guess I was erasing this line between good and bad emotions. Like I feel it especially right now after finishing this year, that an emotion is an information. It doesn't need to be judged. It's just a fact that it's happening, you know? That you feel uncomfortable and obviously you want to get rid of it. It's like, I guess this is a reaction that we are taught to have, you know? To get rid of bad emotions, but this, when you feel uncomfortable, it's so important to actually really feel it, you know? And like analyze this feeling, like where you feel it, when do you feel it, and what could it mean, you know? Sometimes it's, I don't know, I value it so much better, and I see so many meanings in every emotion, and not only mine, but also those of others. I used to be very afraid of others getting angry at me, and right now I feel like anger is something that I need to see, you know? I need to see somebody's angry at me or not, and I want other people to have this space with me. I changed my attitude towards emotions and I'm not judging them as good or bad anymore that much. Okay, another thing that I'm thinking of is still magic, because like look, this box of Pandora is kind of magical, isn't it? It's kind of like, she's like, I feel like with getting involved with magic, I kind of opened some box, and right now all those like magical abilities are kind of like coming out of me, and I feel so powerful with it. Like seriously, I feel like it's true power, that I can affect the world with magic. It's so weird. Like seriously, I feel like I can't explain it more. I would just say, I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna just cut the topic at it, because if I'm going to talk about it more, I will sound crazy. So, but there is something like that, okay? I feel more powerful. I feel like open some box within me or something. Okay, the last thing that I see in this card, when I was analyzing those cards with a friend of mine, only then I noticed that those are praise, and these are, I don't remember the words, like, these are the animals that eat other animals, and these are animals that are, you could say, vegan, right? So kind of makes me think of how I noticed more connections, like how I saw that the world is a being as a whole, you know, like it creates a ecosystem, and not only like the whole world, but you as a human being, you make a world of your own, because you actually are built of many little beings. They care for each other, like those little beings, those cells that make you you know. And I feel like you as a human, you need to kind of cooperate with them. So I also changed my attitude towards me, but also towards the world, because you are also a part of something bigger. You are like this one cell of something huge. You will do yourself a favor if you will cooperate with the world outside too, because it's all also in its interest that you are safe, right? Just as it's in your interest that all of your cells in your body are okay, right? So you are also the cell of like the universe. So it's all connected somehow, and it all makes a huge being, you know, made of little beings, and even more little beings. So I guess that it was never clear for me that it works like that, but right now I'm seeing it more and more clearly, and it has huge implications in how I live, you know? Okay, so now the 6th card is, oh my god, the Chariot. I can't even, it's only major arcana. That's very weird, you know? I read somewhere, this is my nose, I read somewhere that if you keep drawing major arcana, then it means that the spread is important, and it's significant. It could signify that big changes are coming, or something important is like being figured out. So like, whoa, guys, you're like, I don't know, observing something truly magical here. Okay, so let's think about the Chariot. Okay, I love this card because look, this guy is kind of connecting something, right? Like, there's something outside of this card that he's holding. Oh my god, this is so meaningful actually, because this year, it was a year of letting go for me. There was a time, quite not a short time in this year, when I didn't only feel, but I was kind of left alone, you know? There was a period of time when I wasn't in good terms with any of my friends. Like, it all happened at the same time, you know, all those dramas at the same time. And at some point I was like, okay, I think I'm only holding on. I'm only not like falling, collapsing, because all of those like pushings, like, because I felt like pushed away by everyone, and I also was pushing away. So there was all those pushings from all the directions. So if you are like, you know, pushed from all the directions, then you stand still, right? So that's the only thing that was holding me straight, I guess, that pushings were from all the directions. You know, it sounds really weird how I'm describing it, but okay. So my point is that I'm not holding on. I mean, I didn't let go of everyone. I made up with some of people, but then there were quite a few that I didn't make it. Like, our friendships didn't make it, and it's kind of a thing that keeps repeating throughout my whole life, you know, that I keep losing people, especially in the past few years. I was only losing people, and nobody new was coming in, you know, because, okay, like earlier maybe I would lose some people, but some new would come in, and then I would lose them again, but then somebody new would replace them, kind of. Yeah, this year it didn't happen. This year I was only losing people, and some stayed, but nobody new came in. So I don't know, just my environment is shrinking. However, I guess it's just a transition to something else. Another thing about this card is definitely that it makes me think of decisions, because, well, you have those chess things here, and playing chess is all about making good decisions and having some strategy. And this year was full of decisions, quite major ones, because yeah, I was deciding on university obviously, but I was also, you know, designing my new room, which I'm like sitting in right now. You know, I felt like all the decisions, lots of decisions that I made this year will have long-term effects. So I guess they were very important, and there were quite a few. Also with relationships, like which ones I am keeping, which ones I am letting go of. And yeah, this year was pretty important, although it feels like this year was more of a transition than, yeah, it was just a transition to something else. I feel like the next year is going to be the implementation of everything that I learned, you know? So yeah, pretty hopeful. Another thing that this card makes me think of is that it's kind of black and white, right? I've been told that my thinking is quite radical, that I am thinking in black and white, that I either, for example, commit completely or I leave something also completely, right? And there's nothing in between, there's no balance. So I disagree, but I heard this opinion, like people were saying that about me. I guess there is some truth to it. I am radical, and this year I proved it to myself again, I guess. However, I think that's bravery, you know? I know it causes me pain sometimes, but you know, this is kind of my way, and this year it was also visible. Okay, the last card. Okay, the last one is this. It's 8 of Pentacles. Is an owl this time that is kind of like creating, I don't know, coins, I guess. Yeah, I think it really sums up what I just said, that this year was the creation of something, you know. It created things that I can use later, like money, right? Like you use money. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is that I changed my attitude to money. When you spend money, you really invest in something. Paying with money is like voting. You're supporting somebody when you pay them money. So I'm thinking right now about where my money goes, who is benefiting on that, because money is changing the world. Money is the kind of like access card to if you can take actions or not. So if you're giving somebody money, then they will use it to take action. So for example, if you are buying meat, then you are obviously supporting people who are killing animals and all that. So yeah, this card also signifies that for me. Last thing is that, I don't know, this card makes me think of solitude too, because like this owl is in its, I don't know, some kind of cave, some kind of home, and outside of it, I don't know if it's visible, there is a city, and you know, it's like an owl. Okay, an owl will not go out when it's day. However, it makes me think of staying at home when it's day, when everybody's outside. Actually, I was at home a lot this year, and I was alone this year, like physically, you know, because emotionally I wasn't alone, I didn't feel lonely, but like I really was spending time with myself mostly, and it made me like focus on my true abilities, true skills, like talents, you know. And I was like, yeah, I was like trying to better myself in those natural talents that I have. So yeah, these are all the cards that I drew, and I said 3 things to all of them, I think. Wow, I feel like that was such a journey. I didn't even say, I didn't really talk about any specific events or anything. All I said was kind of abstract, I think. However, I guess I still said quite a lot about this year, although there's more to say. So yeah, thanks for listening, and also thank you for sticking around. I sometimes get like people telling me that, oh, they watched this video and they really liked it, and then I'm like, oh really, I didn't even know that it could be fun at all or anything. So sometimes I get really like I don't know, really glad that people watch it and stuff. So yeah, have a good year. Yeah, bye bye.